Coming your way on today's show, 49ers OTAs Winners and Losers Part 2. But first, here at Chat Sports, we're doing a likes competition for the entire month of June. Let's show the bosses at the faithful. The Niner Empire always shows up and shows out. Tickle that thumbs up icon, smash it, and let's start today's show. All right, here we go. You're watching the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. Chase Senior here with you. Hope all of the gang has had a fantastic weekend. Today's 49ers OTAs Winners and Losers segment brought to you by Manscaped, the only answer if you're looking for the best men's grooming products out there. And right now you can get 20% off and free shipping on the most elite men's grooming tools by going to manscaped.com/49ers. That link available for you in the comment section and the description of this video. So we're breaking down some 49ers OTAs Winners and Losers Part 2. There have been a couple of OTA sessions all throughout the spring and summer thus far, one remaining, and with that, some guys are rising up to the occasion and playing really well. Others faltering a little bit. We're covering it all on the 49ers Report. That's why you got to subscribe to the channel. So we start off with the winners. The first one is Jordan Mason, the running back out of Georgia Tech, undrafted rookie who Jeff Collins, the head coach for Georgia Tech, compared to Marshawn Lynch. Why is that? Because he's really big, has excellent size. 5'11", 223 pounds, and throughout OTAs, he's arguably been the best receiving back among the running backs because Elijah Mitchell right now not partaking in practice as he's coming off that slight knee injury. Now, Jordan Mason, he's an intriguing player because he has power, but with that power at 223 pounds, he has pull-away speed in the pass and run game. He can also play special teams as well, so he might have the inside track because of that to make the 53-man roster. Next winner to get to, it's a guy who we actually talked about on the last winners segment. That's Talanoa Hufanga, the second-year safety out of USC, who last year started several games at that safety spot, played a little bit of hybrid safety linebacker, can get sent home on some blitz packages playing around the line of scrimmage, and in that playoff game against the Green Bay Packers, it was him with the scoop and score after the Jordan Willis punt block, which was a massive play in that playoff victory over Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay. So Hufanga, so far up to this point, has been taking all the strong safety reps alongside Jimmie Ward with that first-string defense. He's in a competition with a couple of other guys. Tarvarius Moore coming off the torn Achilles. George Odom, the special teams ace, who was an all-pro special teamer last year with the Indianapolis Colts, but lacks a little bit just playing strictly safety. And Leon O'Neal, the undrafted rookie out of Texas A&M. Hufanga doesn't have the greatest speed in the world. He is a little bit slow at times going sideline to sideline, but he makes up for that because he has a knack for diagnosing plays before they happen, and he's just a gritty football player, as evidenced by what he did last year as a rookie and what he's doing up to this point in 49ers OTAs. Speaking of that safety competition, one of the best ones going on throughout this offseason for San Francisco right now, who wins the job? I'm not going to include Leon O'Neal because he's not a realistic option to take starting safety reps. So type TH for Talanoa Hufanga, TM for Tarvarius Moore, GO for George Odom. Get those votes into the comment section right now. A couple more winners to get to. And now we go to wide receiver, Jawan Jennings. The big question, and one of the big questions I have with this entire offense going into 2022, who is going to be the slot receiver who gets a majority of the reps, and what is Kyle Shanahan going to do at that slot position? He can go with the speedster in Danny Gray, who has yards after the catch ability, a third-round pick out of SMU, or he could go with the bigger body type in Jawan Jennings, who's more of a possession wide receiver. Now, up to this point, Jennings has done a great job of catching the football consistently. He's had a good rapport so far with Trey Lance, which is a really good sign. And going back to last year, Jennings, the former seventh-round pick out of Tennessee, was so good on third and fourth downs and did add a critical component to this offense as that chain mover, a guy who could be relied upon to catch the football consistently, and it's somewhat rare at times to have a big body at 6'3" at that slot position because he can get and garner some favorable matchups. During the one practice that the media was able to see up close and personal last week in the shadows of Levi Stadium, it was Jennings showing off those consistent, reliable hands, catching all 5 of Trey Lance's targets. Still to come on the show, more winners to chop up and dissect. We're also going to get to some losers on this segment. But first, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Here at the 49ers Report by Chat Sports, check us out. We're closing in on 60,000 subscribers. We need 368 people to just hit that red subscribe button to get us to that awesome milestone. Here on the channel, we're bringing you the best 49ers news, best 49ers rumors, live shows every week, live podcasts on call-in, mailbags, audience interaction, and coverage every single day of the week. So make sure you spread the word, tell your homies, tell your family members that we're cooking up some great content right here on the channel, and subscribe today to get us to 60,000 subscribers. Yes, we can't do a show without talking about Trey Lance, another winner as well throughout OTAs for San Francisco. Lance continues to impress during this OTA session. He's looking confident. He's looking accurate, more composed and under control with the second year being in Kyle Shanahan's offense. There have been some slight tweaks made to his throwing mechanics, from his arm motion being a little bit snippier and a little bit tighter to his lower half with the footwork being worked on as well, which oftentimes does lead to a little bit more accuracy as Trey Lance is trying to aid some of those misfires that he made last year. He's a winner also because Trey Lance up to this point, and he's going to continue to do this, get all of the first team reps with this offense and basically get every single rep throughout OTA's mandatory minicamp, which is coming up in a couple of weeks, as well as training camp, because Jimmy Garoppolo is nowhere to be seen as Jimmy G trade rumors continue to hover around him and this football team, and he spends the offseason away from this facility trying to rehabilitate that shoulder injury. We know that Trey Lance is a little bit immature as a passer. We know that he has some strides to make to be a legitimate, star-studded NFL quarterback to make good with the 49ers after being that number 3 overall pick. He has all of the talent in the world. What does he need? Experience and reps. He's a winner partially because he's getting all of those reps throughout the offseason. I want to put you to the test next up in the comment section before we pivot to some of these 49ers losers. What was the first 49ers jersey that you ever owned going back to your childhood? For me, it was Jerry Rice. You let me know that player name in the comment section right now. Now, speaking of Jerry Rice, speaking of Trey Lance at the quarterback position, Jerry Rice as a wide receiver. They can do it all. So too can the Ultra Premium Collection from Manscaped. Look, summer is officially upon us. We're spending a lot of time outside by the pool. You don't want to be that hairy gremlin that no ladies want to go towards. I was partying it up yesterday at the Village outside of Dallas with my boy Will Scott here at Chat Sports. Nice little poolside bar. I was looking down at myself and I'm like, you know what? I'm really manicured thanks to Manscaped. A lot of other people out there were not. Solve that issue today and get 20% off and free shipping on the most elite men's grooming products by going to manscaped.com/49ers. They were nice enough to make a custom link for the faithful, and that link is living right now in the comment section and the description of this video. To our 49ers OTAs losers now. Here is part 2 is upon us. Got to start off with Brandon Aiyuk. He has a golden opportunity to in the future earn himself some money, but also he's the number 1 wide receiver in camp so far because there's no Deebo Samuel as he's looking to get that contract extension, and for him, maybe a trade is going to happen, although I don't think that's realistic. The point here being Deebo Samuel away from the team because of his contractual issues, and now Brandon Aiyuk is the number 1 wide receiver. Unfortunately for him, he hasn't been able to live up to that coin of being the number 1 wideout. He struggled with drops. He caught 1 of 5 targets from Trey Lance last week. He has struggled to create separation against some players who are on the outside looking in on this roster bubble. And for Brandon Aiyuk, you just simply have to be better. And going into 2022, which Brandon Aiyuk are we going to get? Doghouse Aiyuk or game breaker Aiyuk, who had the game-winning touchdown in overtime against the Cincinnati Bengals and in the last 11 games was really good as a number 2. Getting targeted 68 times, reeling in 47 catches for 730 yards. Average yards per catch much more explosive than the first 6 games as that went up 5 yards and the touchdowns went up by 3. You hope that moving forward for this franchise as a former first-round pick, Aiyuk is going to be the player that he was the last 11 games. But so far in OTAs, he's looked like the player on the left of your screen who did not perform the first 6 games of the season. With Aiyuk, He could break out, and he's still one of my breakout candidates. I'm not hitting that panic button just yet, but how many receiving yards do you think Aiyuk is going to have here this upcoming season? Can he break that 1,000-yard threshold? Let me know in the comment section. Get those predictions in and take a guess. Another loser, and it's another veteran player in Oren Burks. The signee during NFL free agency has been very subpar in pass coverage. There was a route in which JaMycal Hasty just crossed him up like a classic Allen Iverson crossover back in the day. The thing with Oren Burks is that with the Green Bay Packers as a former third-round pick, he primarily did play special teams for Green Bay, and he played really well there. That's where his value is. His value is not as an every down linebacker, and at best can be a rotational linebacker. And I guess up to this point, he has proven to be the special teams linebacker and not a guy who deserves to get consistent snaps at that linebacking spot. But for San Francisco, if he brings you value and good play on that special teams unit, which last year was one of the worst in the National Football League, then that signing in free agency will be a good one. 3 players as a whole are OTAs losers. Why? Because the rookies who we're most looking forward to watching this year, the second-round pick Drake Jackson, the edge out of USC, the third-round pick Danny Gray, wide receiver out of SMU, and his fellow third-rounder Ty Davis-Price, did not practice at all when the media was on hand. Now, they're not suffering from any ailments or injuries that we know. I'm wondering if it was strategical from San Francisco to not allow these premier rookies practice in front of the media because they don't want the young guys to get criticized, because they did practice in some of the other OTA practices when the media was not on hand. But partially, they are losers because I want to see what these guys can bring to the table, because all 3 could be asked upon to play a big role for a 49ers team that is capable of making another deep run in the NFL playoffs. And the excitement, it has to be curtailed and it has to be simmered down a little bit because we haven't had an opportunity to see Jackson, Gray, or TDP. Before we hop on out of here, if you're a San Francisco 49ers fan living in the Bay Area or beyond, you probably grew up a Warriors fan as well. We do have a Golden State Warriors channel here at Chat Sports, and I am the host of it. That's why people call Chase Sr. Mr. San Francisco. We're going to be doing another watch party like we did for Game 1 of the NBA Finals, tonight for Game 2, Game 3, and as long as this series progresses on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, nearly 700,000 people join us for Game 1, join us for Game 2 as well on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, and subscribe to Warriors today. But the point here being, get your predictions in for this entire series, not just for Game 2, so this isn't stale on you if you're watching this on Monday or later on. Who you got? BOS for the Celtics, GSW for the Golden State Warriors. NBA Finals predictions in. I'm going with the Warriors in 7.